You have to understand that the president's doing two things here. One is he wants to please his base, which consists of mostly of people on the two coasts who want to feel superior to those rubes out there in flyover country. And since the rubes out there in flyover country are bitterly clinging to their guns and religion, anytime the president pokes them in the eye on gun control, he makes a lot of people in New York and Boston and San Francisco happy. The other thing, as you correctly say, is the Middle East is on fire. Saudi Arabia is, and a bunch of other Mideastern countries have severed diplomatic relations with Iran. They're on the verge of an actual war. All the countries that are supposedly our allies. Meanwhile, Obama today is giving Iran $100 billion as part of the nuke deal that they're already violating. So he doesn't want people talking about this. He and Hillary have set the Middle East on fire. It may be a smoking crater before it's all done. He'd much rather have us arguing about the intricacies of background checks on guns.
Isn't that the most ultimate ironic thing where it concerns gun control? I mean, the president talks about taking weapons away from violent people, and yet the country that's threatened to annihilate us, he wants to not only just give them weapons, but also $100 billion.
Look, people who own guns in this country, people who believe in the Second Amendment in this country, are the people that Obama regards as his real enemies. He regards people who think that the Second Amendment matters, who participate in the gun culture, as a much bigger enemy than the mullahs in Iran. He is much less sympathetic and much less willing to indulge people like that than the mullahs in Iran, because fundamentally they're too just annoyingly, irritatingly, traditionally American, and that's just gross.
Can't have that, no way. And working with Loretta Lynch as well, talking to the DOJ, the same DOJ, obviously you've written reams about this as well, that participated in the Fast and Furious, I mean, legitimately arming people that they would define as domestic terrorists, just right across the border. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that to me, it's such a ruse, and I'm not even really sure because he obviously knows he can't get anything through Congress. I mean, is he going to actually propose anything that has any sort of effect?
I mean, that's actually a pretty good question, and I'd say the answer is quite possibly not. What he can try to do, as you suggested, is to make a rule, because they're a little vague now on who has to have a federal firearms license to sell guns, for example, at gun shows. The law was set up to allow casual sales by people who aren't in the business of it, and sales and transfers within families and among friends, and at occasional flea market type sales. That's not a loophole. That was a deliberate choice in the law. And the statute that's in effect right now is pretty strict in that it says that to be required to do a background check, to have a federal firearms license, you have to be putting substantial amounts of time, attention, and labor to dealing in firearms as a regular course of trade or business with the principal objective of livelihood and profit through the repetitive purchase and resale of firearms. So that's not a casual seller. That's not somebody who says, if I unload a couple of old shotguns, I'll have enough money to buy a new AR. That's not somebody who's liquidating a collection, who sort of trades back and forth. That's somebody for whom it's really their business, and it's a significant portion of their income.